Good morning, Ines. How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah. As we were saying, it is dark, wet, and windy.
It is certainly dark, wet, and windy, although it looks like the rain is maybe lightening up
It
slightly where I
is,
am.
yes. It does look so indeed, yes, which is
Tiny
nice.
bit. I mean, it was so funny this morning. It was quite sunny. You could see the sun behind the clouds, and then
Oh,
suddenly it just
yes.
went like dunk.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's very, very true. Yes.
Uh,
And it's good to see you as always. And welcome everybody that's listening to us, which is great.
Yes. Yes. Welcome to everybody who's listening to us. And I'm really looking forward to today's session because it's going to be all about healing, and I think the world needs it. I mean, this week
Oh,
again with the petrol crisis and all that kind
petrol,
of stuff. There's
gas,
just
electricity,
there's just so
volcanoes
much.
erupting.
Yeah, there's so much awful sort of thorny
Yes,
things happening at once, and
yes.
I think people need to give themselves that space to do a bit of healing, right?
Absolutely. Uh, which is really difficult when the chips are down,
Yeah,
when there are a
yeah,
lot of physical problems, and you're meant to look at karma and everything will be all right. It's easier said than done.
yeah,
I think that's why a lot of the podcasts like ourselves are so very popular.
yeah, and also
We're
so
all
important.
looking, we're all listening. What is somebody else doing to lift themselves up from the quagmire of their thoughts or their
Mm.
predicaments? It's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's really, really tough when your mind sort of gets into that spiral.
Yeah,
It's really tough.
that's right. Well, as you mentioned, we're going to include some practical healing tips, which you may already know. It's just to reiterate, maybe refresh your memory. But as always, we call it healing, wise notes. It still comes down to the need to begin with to calm our mind, as we first have to overcome the problems of outer noises. And that's not just the M25 that's whizzing past you, the outer noises of, uh, of disagreement, of raised voices, all of those things, say the bad news, but also the noises within ourselves. And that noise isn't always tangible, but it's a noise of heaviness, it's a noise of depression, of sadness. That's we also have to come those inner noises as well, and then the fact of somewhere along the line where we can be peaceful, and that has to happen before anything else can happen. For that split second of time, we each have to find our zone. Sometimes without thoughts of, say, meditation, if we call it that, we can become very engrossed either in when we hear music or with what we're doing. We become so engrossed that it actually becomes a deep form of concentration, because we are then not aware of anything else that is happening around us or even to us. We don't know where we're standing. We're so engrossed in what we're doing. And it's that sort of a concentration that we need to reach before we start meditation, which would also include the meditation, the healing, clairvoyance, or any other area that we wish to be part of. And that other area we wish to be part of is also success in our physical life. And the meditation, the healing are all there, or the clairvoyance are all there to give some succor, to give some upliftment, to give some hope to the mind. That's why we come back to the meditation again and again. You can be skateboarding and you're meditating. Sometimes in development circles, there may be music, then there's the relaxation of the body, and then there tends to be a guided journey. At the end of this journey, after the chakras, everything else, or at any point within that journey, we can move our mind into something or nothing, depends, which then becomes the meditative state. It becomes a release from the physical obligations of life. And this can also, the meditation and relaxation also includes moving away from the pain threshold that we sometimes have to bear during our lifetime. Some individuals find this very easy to meditate to find that point, and others don't. But that does not stop anyone, any individual, from finding a total or achieving a total form of relaxation, which will release us for a time from the demands that surround us. Meditation is physical, and the physical mind is very difficult to control. Our life is very physical. And if I can say this again, I don't know how you feel, Thor, because we were discussing some help we were giving to other individuals, that life can really suck. We are where we are, and there's a reason for it. It's not a punishment. It's a valuable lesson as human beings to be able to cope, to somehow manage, usually against severe odds. We only have to look at the news, severe odds. So the meditation, the relaxation, whatever you want, the wellness time is so important. With all relaxation techniques, it not only helps our individual situations of life, but it helps the whole pattern of our life because we see everything in a different light. Because the mind, after it's been relaxed, then when we go back to our routine, of course, we go back with a different form of attitude, a renewed vigor. I will survive. And that is our inner strength. And that is so necessary to pamper to give our total attention to every single day, if it is for a little bit of time. And that little bit of time, we say this again and again, that it can be sitting on the toilet. If that is your only free time, do it. It is a process of mind over matter. It is literally, it's healing on a grand scale because you are allowing and wanting this to happen. Nothing worthwhile is ever quick or easy. And the steps leading towards meditation are gradual and will always strengthen in time. Sometimes we find that life is very difficult. We cannot meditate. We can't get into that space. Things do change. And you can get into it again. Nothing is lost. Learning to accept what we are, what we have, is also necessary to be brought forward through the deeper insight of self, which is often the seed whereby stress has access to our minds and our thoughts. And that is not helped by magazines, the media, demanding certain shapes, figures, attitudes, colors, backgrounds of ourselves to make us viable and successful individuals. It doesn't help, but they're only magazines. They're not God. They're not your best friend. Nothing in life is actually necessary. Nothing. But it is still necessary to achieve because we make the rules. Humanity makes the rules. Allow yourself always to drift into a state of acceptance in whatever happens. I think you had a wonderful imagery, Thor. You mentioned this tower, and I said, okay, what does a tower mean to you, Thor? Do tell me again.
What does a tower mean to me? There are certain things which are within our control, whilst other areas are so far-fetched outside of our control. And so my interpretation of the tower is that there's a change coming, come hell, come high water. It's going to change and it's completely outside of my control and there's nothing I can do with it.
That's right. And so get a couple of water wings, get a boat and go for it.
Yeah.
So accepting the state of allowing ourselves to drift and to accept what is happening, that is important. And by doing that, you can also, and you will achieve what you are looking for. Sometimes it takes a little while, and the routes are very variable. There's not a straight route of learning or opening doors. It just can be very different. Now, we have a myth or an idea of what happiness should be. If that myth hurts or is different, forget it. The world will not come to an end. We are, as human beings, individual. Each of us are stronger than this. And that strength is within everybody. By embracing and understanding life, our life in general, other people's lives too. So when we talk of healing, in any form at all. It is a word. We're always talking of color healing. It is the most important situation in our lives because it is healing of the color, which is the healing of life itself, because life is color. The etheric is the second body, but not the spirit. We're talking of healing, which is metaphysical, treating the cause. The physical is treating the symptoms. So if we are just treating the body by a pill or whatever, then of course, what had created that illness is still laying dormant or latent, and perhaps at future time will flare up again or cause more problems because the causation has not been removed. Once the healing is given, it would restore the color balance. Now, Thor, I think you're 1,000% with this. As we've mentioned before, Thor mentions it individually, I mention it individual. What we've mentioned before, and we'll keep mentioning, healing in any form should never be replaced by the medical profession. Healing and science can work hand in hand. When after an operation we're told, well, now it's up to you. Oh, great, yeah. You might wonder how, but it is the calming of the mind and the restoration of the color balance which will help the healing process of the professionals. Healing, the surgeries, the pills, everything else is also guided. It is not removed. It is all very much given to us by that total force. So the healing factor forces, whether they be of the mind, astral, etheric, or whatever you may call it, all of these things have direct relationships to the color bands. Sorry. Now, as an exercise, it is a suggestion. As an exercise, I want you to use your fingertips as a stethoscope and bring forward that inner hearing and inner feeling or seeing. What you're doing is tuning yourself fine enough to bring that inner ear, sensitivity, or feeling into play. This is not particularly clairvoyance because each part of the body has a different sound, a different feel. A sound emanates from color, either high, low pitch, blah, blah, blah type of pitch. Remember also with this, preparation is the word. By tuning into a particular area of the body with your fingertips, we then concentrate in thought with the power of the healing of the hands, from the hands, the use of crystals and color, if you choose, on the body, and always circulate your energies around the head so that the mind of the individual becomes positive and strong to receive the healing and to utilize it in the way it is necessary. It's free. You can do it yourself.
Exactly. And I think that is a super useful, practical example of how to do healing. And also, I think what's really important to communicate is you can do no damage, right?
Absolutely.
When you do this, there's no damage to be done, just positive healing that will either help yourself or the individual that you're working with.
Hope springs eternal in the human heart, and that is what healing offers. It's a hope. It's a hope.
It's a hope. Yeah, and your guides, if you're like doing it intentionally, your guides and everything else will come forward and support the situation, right? That's true. That's
absolutely. But also, this is only on a personal point of view. Do not, at least I don't feel it is correct to assume that someone who has an illness, who is going through bad time, that it is a punishment for a sin that has been committed. There is no sin. Whatever atrocities have happened, it is still part of karma. And when the wheel of karma turns, perhaps we are in that situation that we dished out. It is still a learning process. But I have heard before. I heard that thunder.
No, it was upstairs. Someone's walking upstairs.
Oh, okay. I have heard before when an individual has been told who has been ill, that it is a punishment. It is not. It is not. It is totally wrong.
It's totally wrong.
Yeah.
What is your wise wisdom of the week, Ines? Positive
Our
wisdom of
most
the week?
precious commodity is time.
Ain't that the truth, huh?
Yeah, but a lot of people, trust me, oh God, no, they don't want to be here. Q, I want to die. I want to die. Q, Q, Q. Except when then the lottery is won. Okay, maybe tomorrow. I
Isn't
take it
that the
back.
truth? Our
Yeah,
most precious commodity is
it's
time.
time. Yeah,
It's too true. It is too true. Our most precious commodity is
it's
time.
time. You can't buy time.
Can't buy time.
No, no. And we waste so much of it. Doesn't mean we have to be busy beavers.
No,
It
no.
just means we can just concentrate our mind on something good for ourselves, make ourselves a little stronger,
Yeah.
anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
100%. And again, people, for any situation to get better, then some healing needs to occur,
yeah,
Got to get out of that sort of vicious circle.
absolutely.
Otherwise, the patterns will just keep on repeating themselves. And that doesn't lead to whatever form of happiness people find for themselves.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Thor. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ines, for another glorious I was about to say meditation. I suppose it is meditation, but
Yeah, it is.
podcast.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for another glorious, inspirational, motivational episode. That was great.
Yeah, thank you for your support, Thor.
Thank you. And as
Without
always,
you,
go on. Give me
without you, it would not happen.
the thank you. Give me the compliment that.
Oh, it's so good, so good.
Thank you, everybody who's listening. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, just send them through and we will respond to them on the podcast.
Yeah, and everybody have a good day.
You too.
Make it a good day.
Make it a good day.
Yeah, make it a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Toodaloo.